Hello everyone, I'm Harry, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to look at some pedalboard essentials. So the guys at 3 Monkeys Amps wanted to send me 2 little sample packs. One is a Solderless Patch cable kit and the other is a Solderless DC cable kit. And if I'm not mistaken, I think 3 Monkeys are the only guys that have done the DC cables solderless as well. So solderless cables are a great alternative to making your own custom cables, so you don't have to sit there with finicky plugs and a soldering iron, which a lot of people really don't like to do. The solderless systems are super easy to assemble, so we're just going to quickly have a look at how to do that in the video. So the first one we'll look at is the Solderless Patch cable kit. So in this sample pack we've got 2 feet of solderless cable and 4 plugs, so we'll be able to make 2 patch cables. So let's open this up. Alright, so we've got our cable, which is 2 feet, and we've got 4 plugs as well. So we'll just set them aside. Also in the packet is a sticker by the looks of things, yep, and then a little instruction thing for assembling them. So we have a little picture thing on the back. It looks like we just get a Stanley knife, make a clean cut and then twist the end on 5 to 6 times. How to assemble. Number 1, cut cable to desired length. To make a clean straight cut we use a utility knife with a fresh blade, which is what I've got. Cut straight down on the cable, do not saw. Now also cut the factory end as well to ensure a clean connection, so we'll just take a tiny bit off the end of where it's been cut already. Thread a plug onto the cable like turning a bolt or nut until it bottoms out. 3 or 4 turns, no need to over tighten. Repeat on opposite end and test connection with a multimeter or plug between pedals to make sure it passes sound. Troubleshooting. If the cable doesn't work, make sure plug is tight to cable. If still having problems, unthread the cable, cut 1/4 to 1/2 inch off and then re-thread. Other than that, you've got some contact information. Right, so let's give this a go. So let's use this little piece of card to protect my table a little bit. So I'm going to just take a tiny little bit off the end of this. In fact, let's cut it to where we want. No, we'll take the ends off first and then cut it. Right, it's a nice sawing. Straight down on the cable. There we go. A couple little metal strands there. Cut the other end. And I'm assuming it's going to be exactly the same with the DC cables as well. It's a bit tough, maybe I should have got a better blade on this. Let's try that right on the edge of the table so I can press it all the way down properly. There we go, that was easier. Right, so we strip the ends off. So I'm going to cut this roughly in half. So then I have 2 decent length cables that I can use for pretty much whatever I like. There we go. Right, so I've got 2 decent length patch cables there. So let's screw the ends on. So this should be super easy. Let's make sure that's properly rounded before I put the end on. So apparently all we do is push it on, thread 5 to 6 times and then bend at a right angle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can feel that it's already gotten tight enough, that's not going anywhere. Then we can bend the cable into that little groove. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but yeah, just to make it a right angle. So that is a super easy setup. So much more easier than sitting there with a hot soldering iron trying to solder. Like I said before, not very many people like soldering, and it's a quick and easy solution. So there we go, 1 patch cable assembled in literally a couple of minutes. Let's do the next one, just repeat the process. I'm going to make all these cables and then we'll plug a couple of pedals in just to make sure that they're all working properly. So again, 5 to 6 times. You can feel it threading, and when it's threaded enough anyway. Other end, this is super easy. I think a lot of the other solderless kits aren't this easy. I think you need to strip the wire more rather than just making a clean cut. So that's definitely an advantage. There we go. 2 lovely, high quality patch cables assembled in literally no time. So that was the solderless patch cable kit. Now we're going to look at the solderless DC cable kit, which should also be really cool. Like I said before, I don't think anyone else does the solderless DC cables as well. I think it's mainly just the patch cables. So in this again, I guess it's 2 feet of cable, 4 plugs, which are the nice metal plugs as well, which is I don't know if you usually see that on DC, normally the plastic if I remember right, and a sticker and instructions which are almost exactly the same except for these little heat shrink things. So with all the process is exactly the same as the patch cables, but if needed, slip custom heat shrink over the plug end closest to the cable and gently heat with a lighter or a heat gun. So yeah, we'll put them on. See what they're like. So let me just get this again to use. I'm going to cut this. In fact, let's do the ends again first. So you just press straight down. Don't saw. Just put your weight onto the knife, and it cuts it super clean, like so. Other ends. There we go. I'm going to cut this one just bang in the middle again. So then I've got two DC cables of about the same length. I mean, there's 2 approaches to making custom cables. One advantage is you can cut the cable to exactly where you want it. So if you want a really neat pedal board, or you can just make a set of different lengths so that you can reuse them easily and not have to worry about pedals being a certain distance away from each other. I'd rather always have a little bit of extra cabling under my pedal board just in case I wanted to swap things about, but that's all personal preference. Same with DC cables, obviously. So we've got our 2 cables. Let's put the ends on. Let's make sure that's rounded properly. So we put it in. Start twisting and you can feel it thread on. No problem at all there. Other ends. Now the interesting part is this heat shrink thing. Luckily I have a lighter handy. It said you can use a heat gun, but obviously you don't want to, if you're going to use a lighter, which is probably people have in most of the house, obviously don't put the flame right to the heat shrink. You're supposed to put it under and let it heat it up from the bottom. So I'll just quickly grab a lighter. Alright, so heat shrink over the metal plug like so. I'm just gonna have a flame. I don't know if you can see the flame. Yeah, you can on camera, and just heat it up gently underneath. There we go, that one could have been a bit closer to the edge, but that's my fault. It looks quite neat still though. Nice and tidy, maybe heat up a tiny bit more. Yeah, that looks good to me. Other end, we'll repeat the process. Probably just skip forward on this one. That one was a bit better as well, shrinks perfectly. Awesome. That's one DC cable done. Repeat the steps to this end. Screw the end on. So simple and easy. Just make a clean cut, screw the end on. As I said before, I think a lot of other kits you have to strip the wire more. Put the heat shrink over the top. Lighter. Perfect. 2 DC cables, 2 patch cables, they'll look great. Let's check them out, see if they work. Okay, so to quickly test them out, I've just replaced some cables on my pedal board rather than hacking it all about just for the demo. So as you can see, I've left these hanging out so you can see the cables. I've got one of the patch cables between the big spender and the Jubilee, and then the other between the Lightspeed and the Jubilee. And then the Jubilee is being powered with the 3 Monkeys DC Solderless, and so is the big spender. So obviously I plugged it in, it worked straight away, which is good. Power to both, and obviously audio signal coming through. So as you can see, they work perfectly. So there we have it. That was a quick look at the Solderless Patch cables and DC cables by 3 Monkeys amps. They sound great, they look great, and they're really simple to put together. So if you like the look of those cables, you can go onto the 3 Monkeys website, check out some of the packs that they sell. It's really worth a look, and it's a great alternative to soldering your own cables. If you like that little how-to demo video of putting together the patch cables and the DC cables, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Go onto my channel, check out some of my playlists. I have plenty more covers, demos, lessons, how to sound like, and anything guitar related. As always, I've been Harry, and thanks for watching.